Good morning and welcome to the 10 a.m. daily weather brief. As for the outlook over the next few days, we continue to see a very likely scenario in which a major winter storm is set to impact the mid-Atlantic region come this weekend, along with some high confidence in a spread of different precipitation types over a large portion of that said mid-Atlantic region, especially for the risk of major snow accumulations areas up to the north and to the west, along with the chance for major ice accumulations over much of central Virginia and for areas that will spread up into the north. Now, looking ahead at the big picture here locally, things really start coming together later this evening and early tomorrow, which we can see on the left-hand side of the screen here. We'll see a cold front that will have since passed through the area, and that cold front will allow lots of cold Arctic air to pour in on the backside, and that's going to be important for really two main reasons. The first being that it is going to lock in the cold air that we'll need for that winter weather as we move into the weekend. And then secondly, it's also going to work towards cooling down those ground temperatures well below freezing, and any precipitation that gets underway that will likely start to realize those accumulations almost immediately, which as of currently, the onset of that said accumulation does look to be around midnight on Saturday, as to when those first few flakes start moving into the area. Now, moving into Sunday, that cold air is going to remain locked in place thanks to that high pressure off to the north, especially for the earlier portion of the day, and that is going to allow that snow to continue accumulating, with current snow totals looking to sit around 3 to 6 inches locally, and then closer to 5 to 8 inches as you move northwards towards Salisbury. And these accumulations should continue up until around mid to late morning on Sunday, in which we'll start to see a transition period get underway, and that'll be as a result of a low that forms off of the North Carolina coast. And during that midday period, we'll see those snow rates start to erode away. We'll see the potential for some sleet to mix in, and then ultimately we will see a full transition to rain for the remainder of the day on Sunday. Now, closing out the day Sunday and moving into Monday, which can be seen on the left-hand side here, we'll see that rain will begin to pull offshore as that low moves off to the northeast, and we may also see some lingering showers, of which some may be in the form of freezing drizzle wrapping around on the backside of the system. However, any accumulations from that wraparound or those scattered, isolated showers shouldn't be much to make note of, at least at this time. And then following Sunday, and on the right-hand side here, we can see that high pressure solidly builds in over the southeast, and that is going to serve to keep those cold temperatures locked in near freezing for really the foreseeable immediate future, and that is also going to be as a result of a rather uniform upper-level flow in which we don't see much change for the following days, so that weather pattern in general is going to remain consistent. Taking a look at a model run here, stepping through a majority of the event just for better visualization of when we can expect onset, the general transition time frame, and what precipitation types to expect and at what time. Up in the top left, we have around midnight, we see those first few flakes or those outer bands of snow working their way into the area. And we step forward 6 hours, we are still experiencing snow, and at that higher rates of snow as more moisture will have pushed into the local Wallops area. And then stepping forward another 6 hours, closing in on the midday period, we see that band of sleet passing through, which the transition may be a little quicker, so maybe we won't see as much sleet, but the chance for such certainly passing through the area, and then we see some heavy rain on the backside, and then that heavy rain does look to close out the event. So any accumulations that we picked up earlier in the day, there's a reasonable chance that those accumulations will be largely washed away, but that's something we'll have to see how that plays out as the event gets underway. And then moving on to our 24-hour forecast for the day ahead, some slight adjustments from earlier, a general increase in cloud coverage for the remainder of the working day. We'll start to see the cloud coverage step down in those overnight hours and into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Temperatures do look to climb into the mid to upper 40s, with our winds remaining light and variable at least early in the forecast period, and then we see a rather substantial increase in those overall winds approaching wind advisory criteria, with gusts upwards of 27 knots. So a pretty good chance of seeing that wind advisory, and that will carry us through the remainder of the forecast period of the 24 hours ahead. And similarly, in conjunction with those winds, those are also going to pair up timing-wise with those cool temperatures, which drop down into the teens tonight, and we will likely see wind chills below 10 degrees and likely in the negatives as we move into tomorrow morning. As for our short-term risk chart here, on Saturday we do have greens across the board, anticipating cloudy conditions and a high around 25 degrees. On Saturday night, expecting things to be slightly breezy with accumulating snow starting around midnight and a low of 20. Also a reasonable chance of seeing ceilings below 500 feet and restricted visibility. And then Sunday, breezy with snow that will eventually transition around the early to mid to late morning, anticipating accumulations around 3 to 6 inches, and that will be before that transition fully gets underway, and a very good chance of seeing lowered ceilings and visibilities below 1 statute mile. And for the 7-day outlook ahead, looking to see mostly cloudy conditions today. Those clouds are going to continue building as we move into Saturday, with the chance of snow late in that period. And then Sunday, we'll see snow early, transitioning to rain, and then rain to finish out the event, lingering potentially into Monday morning. Things will remain rather cloudy on Monday, but then we will see a overall decreasing trend in coverage for a mostly sunny Tuesday, and those temperatures past this major winter storm are going to stay around freezing, if not just below, to close out the week ahead, with those lows dropping into the teens occasionally, but generally sitting in the 20s. And that is going to conclude the 7-day outlook. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday with the daily weather operations brief.